Hi, this is Paul the Pipe Guy live from Rochester, New York, and just wanted to have a little Sunday smoke together. Sunday evening smoke together. It's it's a little after 7 o'clock, and so grab your pipes and an adult beverage and your favorite blend that you feel like smoking, and let's have a smoke together. And a little chat and a rant. So yesterday, well, let's start out with what I'm smoking first. I'm smoking some Cornell and Diehl Pirate Cake. Oh, and this stuff is just phenomenal. I mean, I've got 3 tins of it, but this first tin is reduced to that little chunk. And this is a Latakia Lovers, or Latakia, however you pronounce it, blend. It really is. Pirate Cake. This is kind of one of my go-to blends. It's a smooth, robust blend with lots of exceptional Latakia or Latakia, accompanied by Turkish and Burley. A Latakia lover's treasure. And it truly is. I love this stuff. The only thing I wish they would do is come out with a pirate cake blend that had all of these ingredients, but lots of rum. That would be great. That would be like the bomb. So, what I have here is I have my Dr. Greybough Omega pipe. And this was the second pipe I ever purchased brand new. On my son that passed away, I bought him one exactly like it. I still have to retrieve it from his roommate. This one's starting to get broken in fairly well. It does have a P-lip on it, which basically some of the Petersons have a P-lip type of construction. So, instead of a regular squared off like that, it has this like little P-lip on the end. And this one takes a 6mm filter, although I do not use filters. I don't like them. And the bowl diameter is approximately, I would say, just about an inch wide, without measuring it with calipers and so forth. So this bowl is packed full. And even with a 6mm hole, it still has a pretty good draw, so let's light her up. So a little bit about my weekend. I build up enough time where I have 2 sick days, so I used a sick day for Friday, and I called in and said, look, I'm going to use today as a sick day. I'll be back on Monday. They didn't schedule me for this Saturday because the owners of the company that I work for wanted me to do some work for them with my concrete curbing, my concrete landscape edging. And which my son Michael, who passed away in late February 22nd, he was my finisher. So it's the first job we've done this season. I should have really started up back in May, but I just couldn't bring myself to it with the loss of my boy. And so I wasn't sure how I would react because all the tools, his trowel, his other little triangular shaped trowel, the little roller, the stamp, the knife to cut the expansion joints in the concrete edging. He was the last one to touch them and the last one to clean them. So I really didn't know how I was going to react to that, because basically what we would do is I would run the machine, the curb machine, that through a slip form process. It has a plunger in the machine. My younger boy would shovel the concrete in, and the plunger would press it out through a mold, almost like an old school Play-Doh maker with the different shapes and stuff. And so I did that. That's what I normally do. And then my boy who passed away, Michael, would follow right up behind me and finish it and then stamp it and then cut the joints in. Well, I had to do double duty, so I was running the machine and doing the job that he did. And we did mentally and emotionally, I was talking to my youngest boy, who's 17, Paulie Jr., and my crew chief, Tom, and I said, you know what, my son Michael, he says, he's riding in the truck with us right now, saying, I wish I could work with you guys. But he was there in spirit, and we're having a pretty good day, and then the machine, a bolt came loose out of the drivetrain on it, and it took about 45 minutes to fix. Meanwhile, we have a whole batch of concrete that's sitting there drying up. But we managed to get through it. We got the machine back together, laid the mix out. It was really dry, but I was able just to put some muscle into it and get it finished up nice and got a nice stamp on it. So we came home, and I did okay for the day. I made a little bit of money. On a Saturday afternoon, I can go out for 6-7 hours and really, after I pay my guys and so forth, make about what I make at my job for a whole week. But sometimes money's not a motivator for me. It used to be, not anymore. So that turned out good, and we got all cleaned up, and I was like, all right. Let's head to the gas station for some Busch beer. So then last night, my girl came over, Mindy, and I says, look, just get 4 really nice steaks. I says, do you like New York strip steaks, Mindy, or do you like Delmonico's? And she's like, I love Delmonico's. New York strips are fine too. I says, get the Delmonico's then. She's like, but they're more expensive. I says, don't worry about it. So she calls me from the store, and she's like, the difference in price between the Delmonico steaks and the New York strip steaks is $7 per pound. She says the Delmonico's are $7 a pound more. I was like, what? I says, who cares? Get them anyway. She's like, no, a New York strip is fine for me. I can't believe the price of this meat. These New York strips were $13.99 a pound, which means that the Delmonico steaks were $20 a pound. A year or two ago, I was paying $8-9 a pound for steak like that. And, a few years ago, I used to buy the whole loin of New York strips, and then for free, they'd cut them up into 1-inch thick steaks, and it was $3.99 a pound like 5 years ago. What's going on here? I don't know. Has the price of feed gone through the roof because the government has all the farmers making big money growing corn for ethanol for vehicles to put in our gasoline? And when you look at that When you look at that pump, and it says contains up to 10% ethanol, which is certified by the state of New York, it's bullshit. Okay? And I'll tell you why. And the state employees know. Little story. My John Deere tractor wasn't running right. My chainsaw wasn't running right. My weed whacker wasn't running right. None of my machines were running right. So I went down to the John Deere dealer. He says, my tractor just isn't running right. Is it the ethanol or something? And he's like, funny you mentioned that. He says, we had a gentleman in here just like you, and we tested the gasoline that he was using. Now, the pump says up to 10% ethanol. This, when they tested the fuel this guy had purchased, it was almost 20% ethanol. And ethanol is just horrible for gasoline engines. It plugs them up. It plugs up all of the seals and all of the rubber tubes and stuff like that, the fuel lines. It just gunks everything up. It's terrible. And you get horrible fuel economy with it, too. So there was a state inspector at, he was like checking the pumps and all this stuff. He had his little badge on, little state badge. He was probably about 60 years old, and I walked up to him and I says, hey, that pump says that there is up to, but no more than 10% ethanol in that gasoline. And he's like, that's right. And I says, well, it's kind of funny because my equipment hasn't been running right. And I went to the John Deere dealer, and he was telling me a few people came in and he tested their gasoline, and it was almost 20% ethanol. It was 18.6% ethanol. So if that pump says that, and you're certified in weights and measures by New York State, why does the fuel have that much ethanol? He's like, and he got really angry. He's like, that's not true at all. I don't believe that. That's BS. And he got extremely angry. And I says, well, they sent it out for an independent tests on a few of their customers that were complaining of this. So what do you have to say about that? And he just asked me to go away. He didn't want to talk to me. Didn't want to talk about it. He knew. Come on. Freaking government. They got their hands in everything. In fact, one of our New York State senators owns 25% of a ethanol plant locally here. He's making money, millions, hand over fist. These farmers, they grow this special corn that's super high in a sugar content. Now, your average ear of corn, okay, is probably 10 to 12, maybe 12 inches long at the most. This stuff was like, that's made for ethanol, is like 18 inches long. It's like that big around, freaking like 5-6 inches in diameter. Huge kernels, and the deer won't even eat it because the sugar content is so high. The deer don't like it, and they grow some of this ethanol corn actually up at one of the farms near Lake Ontario, and because of the sandy soil near the lake and just the way the weather is, it even grows bigger. I mean, they're getting ears of corn that are 18 inches to 24 inches long and just even bigger. It's 4 times the size of the regular corn. So, I don't know. So, we had our steaks and baked potatoes last night, me and my girl and her son. He's autistic, but you really don't notice a difference. I don't know. His attention span might be a little less or something, but he's just a great young man. He's just turned 22. He's just like a son to me. In fact, if you look in his phone under my phone number, it says Dad. You know. So they come over every weekend, and she's like, "Are you sure you want me to bring Tyler?" And I was like, "Yeah, I want to see him, man." So I was teaching him how to. We had the grill going, and I don't have a gas grill. I have, a grill that it's a charcoal grill. I like those better, even though it takes a little more investment of your time. I just like the way it makes the meat taste better. And I'm a pretty good griller. I've been grilling for a long time. And man, I asked my girl, I says, "How do you want your steak?" She's like, "Medium rare." I says, "All right, you got it." Made all 4 New York strips, medium rare, perfect, like they were served up in a restaurant. Flipped them 2 times either way so that you got that cross section. You look at the steak like this, and you got black lines going like that and like that, so it's like a diamond pattern on it. They look just like they could have been served up in a 5-star restaurant. And we ate those. We ate dinner down in the living room, and then around 8 o'clock, I was like, "Babe, I'm absolutely exhausted. I got to go to bed." She's like, "I'm tired too, but I'm not ready to go to bed." I says, "I can't keep my eyes open anymore." She says, "Go in, go to bed, turn the fan on, and I'll be in there within 15 minutes. And sure enough, within 15 minutes, she came in, and we were fast asleep. We were out. Stayed in bed this morning, woke up about 7:30. Talked for a little bit, and then we said, "Oh, it's time for a nap." It's like 8:30. We stayed in bed till like 11. Then at 2 o'clock today, my daughter Ashley is having a son, which is my grandson. His name will be James Robert Millville. So my wife, who we've been separated for 7.5 years, spent all kinds of money on food and everything, and we went to the Fireman's Exempt Center, where we held our wedding reception back in 1995, and I helped her out. I gave her $200. Then instead of buying my daughter something or whatever, I got her a nice card. I put $200 in cash in that. I figure $200 for a baby shower is a fair good amount. Everyone else that I talked to was like, "Oh, just give her $100." I was like, "Nah." So my wife's family was all there. Now, I know this sounds strange that I have a wife and a girlfriend, but the reality is my wife and I are separated. We have been for the last 7.5 years. And we're not going for a divorce yet because the kids are all under 21. We just don't want to get attorneys involved. And we have our own child support agreement worked out. And I take care of them when they need extra money, whatever. So we just don't want to muddy the waters. After they're 21, I'm sure we're going to go for the divorce. Polly's 17 and a half, so got about 3.5 more years to wait. Well, her whole family was there. Her mom and her dad, and 2 of her sisters and their husbands, and a lot of her nephews, which are still my nephews, and I don't know, it was really just great to see them all, and they treated me very kind. And even though they know that Carol and I are separated and so forth. They know that I'm a good guy. For some reason, it just didn't work out, and we're very civil with each other. And for the first few years, they wanted nothing to do with me. I mean, but it was nice to be able to go up to her mom and dad and give them a hug and tell them I loved them. And I mean, her dad's 88 and her mom's like 86. Still in pretty good shape. I don't know. It was nice to see all my sons there. My daughter's there. So it's been a good day. So I got home around 6 o'clock and did the dishes from last night's steak dinner. Yeah. My roommate doesn't like it, and I don't blame him if I leave dishes in the sink. And I was so tired last night, I just couldn't do them. So, and I ran out of time to do them today, but he was at work, so I made sure I did them all. Clean the sink up real nice. It's only fair if you cohabitate with somebody that, you clean up after yourself. So now I'm just having a Sunday evening smoke and a little chat. Yeah. So hopefully they're not going to be upset that I used one of my sick days on Friday. I mean, how could a company that you work for that gives you sick days, which you can use for anything, be upset for you doing that? I can't see it. The last sick day I took was like 3 months ago. So it's not like I'm one of these guys that calls in every Monday and every Friday. Plus, I had work for the owners to do. The people that own my company, I had work to do for them. I just don't like calling in because I always kind of feel guilty about it, like somebody's going to say something like I did something wrong, because for years, for like 25 years, I worked in the car business. If I called in, there was nobody there to do my job. And so I was sorely missed. So that's kind of my background. Oh, this pirate cake is so good. Well, we're heading towards almost 24 minutes, and I hope that all of you have a good Sunday evening. It's about 7:28, 28 minutes after the hour. It's still about 82 degrees outside. The sun has started to go a little lower. It's still very light out. Probably have about another hour's worth of light left. And I'm going to relax. I might do a little bit of laundry. Yeah. Anyways, thanks for tuning in for our Sunday night relaxing smoke together and a little rant. I'm Paul the Pipe Guy, live from Rochester, New York. Happy pipe smoking, pipe smokers. Over and out.